All right, next topic is the first US Abrams tanks arrived in Ukraine, and Russia has basically declared open season on them, which means that they might get taken out.
Well, they will. It's not the. I think it's not they might. They will.
I agree.
Because both the Leopard from Germany and the Challenger, I believe, from UK.
Challenger, yeah.
Well, so the Abrams tanks. As a matter of fact, the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, said, "Well, we hope that they won't be attacked and we get them back." Like, you ain't getting anything back. You know, pushing. Do you think people just gonna sit and take it? No, they won't. They're gonna be pushing back. I think militarily, from a military perspective, the Russians going to target, and it's so easy for them to target.
It is. And even let's see, I have a quote from someone talking about that. But the thing that I really want to point out about this is that each of those tanks cost, according to Reuters, cost over 10 million, including training and upkeep. So that if there's 30, so 10 have been delivered. Okay, so that's $100 million. Very quick math there. And 31 have been promised, which means that is $310 million more that have been promised.
Yeah.
There's a lot of debate right now going on about whether continuing to fund the situation in Ukraine is the right call, especially considering how much people here in the United States are suffering. There's even a giant, so this is maybe something to talk about on Rumble, but it turns out that the US is not actually only funding military. They're also funding small businesses in Ukraine. We're also funding all of their government salaries and then emergency workers. So apparently 57,000 emergency workers, we are paying their entire salary. So this is not just, and during a potential government shutdown, apparently the Ukrainians that we are funding will still keep being paid while US government workers won't be. So there's a very interesting conversation going on here. And so, $100 million more dollars to Ukraine. And this didn't come as a budget, this didn't come as a budget question. This is we promised you this, and here they are. And they're probably going to get destroyed. And there's no guarantee that they're going to actually push the front line. There's no guarantee that they're going to lead to a win for Ukraine.
They will never win. That's the thing. This is the harsh reality that the Biden administration is. I'm sure they know it. They knew it. They knew there is no way Ukraine will defeat Russia. So the other question for us is, why the waste?
That's a great question.
If we look at the images at the border, what's taking place right now?
Oh my God.
I mean, shame on our government. Yeah, I don't shy away from saying it, and I don't give a damn about the government, what they think, because what they are doing, it's not right.
Yeah.
This is not how America ought to be.
No.
Do you want to take control of your financial future but don't know where to start? Noble Gold Investments understand. Investing in precious metals may sound confusing, but the team at Noble Gold Investments makes it easy. Let's hear from actual Noble Gold investment customers. Quote, "The staff answered all my questions and helped me every step all the way." End of quote. Another quote, "No pressure sales tactics, just honest guidance." End of quote. Another quote, "Securing my future is less stressful thanks to Noble Gold expertise." End of quote. So don't settle for financial uncertainty. They will suggest options and see if you can diversify into gold and silver. Right now, Noble Gold Investments is offering a free 5-ounce silver America, the beautiful bullion coin, for qualified accounts. Don't settle for financial uncertainty. Noble Gold Investment has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews. So why wait? Go to geopoliticsgold.com now. geopoliticsgold.com, the only company I trust. But remember, there are always risks of investments and there are no guarantees of any kind.
It's it defies logic. You look at those, corrupted, you got now a senator. He's been involved in corruption.
Wow, what is
he found it. But here is the thing. He refused to resign.
Yeah.
That shows you how corrupted the system is. Why are we giving the senator more platform to talk? Put his ass in jail.
Yeah.
If he breaks the law, give him or her fair trial, because we are a country of law. Okay.
Absolutely.
And put him in jail for a long, long time and confiscates all the assets.
Absolutely.
So straightforward. There is no if and buts. But again, that just gives you an idea here that there is one set of laws for some and another set of laws. And so where is the justice in the system that is so-called being democratic? You call a spade a spade. It pains me to say what I'm saying because it's my country. But at the same time, you can't shy away from, I have to be cherry picking what I'm saying. No. I don't give a damn for what the government thinks because we are seeing where things are headed. And that's the policies. But again, it's not just the government to blame. We are to take part of the blame also because we're the one who vote them in. You get what you vote for.
Absolutely. And also what you stand for. So really, I think in the deal with these tanks, you may think, it's just a tank. It's just $10 million. But 31 of these, Biden has promised 31 of these. And there is so even when they're talking about what the contribution these tanks will be. So 2 US officials explained to the New York Times, more M1 Abrams tanks will be sent in coming months. The Abrams will be among other tanks in Ukraine's arsenal that it could use to push in and possibly reclaim Russian-held territory in Ukraine and eastern and southern regions where fighting has gone on the ground for months without major breakthrough. So this is another big thing. So right now, even the U.S. officials are saying the counteroffensive hasn't been successful. It really is at a stalemate. So for what is this? And they didn't send all 31, so it's not some big push at once, right? They're sending 10, I guess, to see if they get destroyed. I don't know what.
Which they will.
Then, those 10 got destroyed. We have to send 20 more, or we have to send 10 more. And so it's another 100 million. It's another 100 million. And Rand Paul actually said this, Senator Rand Paul, he said something like, as if nobody was noticing, we don't have the money to send to Ukraine.
So you're going to borrow from China?
Yeah, borrowing from China to send to Ukraine doesn't make sense.
But isn't China the enemy? How come we're borrowing from?
That's a great question. That's a great question, right? So we've had Janet Yellen, we've had all of these government officials going to China more or less to ask for more money, more or less to say, hey, don't screw up our economy by not investing anymore and then also not sending us our stuff anymore, right? So there's a double edge that's going on here. There's double speak that's going on here. But he makes a great point. We do not have it in the budget to send to Ukraine anymore. Not that I think we ever did, but we're borrowing money to do that.
Well, it's again, we get what we voted for. So, but again, the system is corrupted. I've said this many times before. I don't like to repeat myself, but the idea of you look at it now, just 2 parties controlling the political process.
Yeah.
Since when in a democracy you have that?
Well, absolutely.
Ridiculous.
And it's the illusion of choice, right? Because I think that faced between Biden or frankly Donald Trump, people wouldn't choose either. Like if you had another candidate, people would probably choose a different person. And so it's the illusion of choice. Do you have this one bad choice or do you have this other bad choice? Which do you choose?
Yeah.
Right. And so it's been Republican, Democrat for
the last 150 years. 150 years.
Right. And it would be, in its own sense, maybe naive to think that those people don't have they don't work together in some ways, right?
Oh, no.
You know, it's naive, I think, to think that everything is done out in public, out in the open. I think that's naive to think that.
No.
And that's never been done throughout all of history. So what makes us think that's been done right
That
now?
it will be, yeah.
Do you know?
So for this issue of the tanks, you know, we're going to start hearing the news soon. And by the way, it's not going to be reported here first. It's going to be reported by some other independents that the tanks will be sort of destroyed.
Wow.
And this is exactly what's her name? The foreign minister of Germany, Annalena Baerbock, when the Leopard were pulverized, they said, "Oh, those are not German tanks; those are Ukrainian tanks." You know, it's kind of Abrams. The thing is, what a lot of people do not know is that the Russians have major. Their numbers, I couldn't remember the exact number of tanks.
Yeah,
they are massive. As a matter of fact, just since the conflict started, Russia has been producing ammos and all that 7 times higher than.
We were going to do a show on that, but I don't know if YouTube would be okay with that.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it on Rumble maybe, but
yeah, 7 times, and just shows you right there. So this is another hype just to push, which also indicates to you the thinking inside Washington, or NATO for that matter, as far as prolonging the war.
Absolutely. So. And I think that's actually, so this is my theory. Okay. This hypothesis is my theory only. But, you know, it's interesting to me that they didn't send all of them. And, you know, the reason might be because, oh, well, we're, you know, budgetary conscious. That's if you're conscious of the budget, you've done a really bad job. Okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's so that it isn't a stronger counteroffensive.
Do you want a quick answer to that?
Yeah.
It's because our presidential election is coming up.
Yeah.
So in case the Democrat loses, which most likely they will, they're going to blame it on the Republicans that they didn't pursue.
Yeah.
If the Democrats win, they're going to see, we started, so we're going to have to keep going.
Yeah.
So they're trying to play both sides, and it's the system is till Americans wake up.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they will ever. Not all of us, of course, some, but they just too.
People tend to wake up as things get really bad.
So it has to be very bad.
But the thing is, it is getting very bad.
They're not realizing that.
Right. And that's how people are starting to wake up.
Yeah.
You know, this is a little bit of a side, but it's also the same situation. So my fiance loves football. So, you know, we watch football. Football is so full of advertisements. So I think we were laughing the other day because it was the brand. I'm not going to say the brand, but it was like the branded timeout.
Yeah.
And it's like every single thing we're being milked. And there's going to be a turning point where we can't be milked any further.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're getting there because nothing is abating. The pressure is just more and more and more.
What change is good. Sometimes when things show cracks, you tear it down and rebuild. I just want to add one more final thought on this before we jump into the next one. All this shipments of the 10 tanks coincided with the US allocating money for Poland.
Yes.
They're two separate, you know, but also because Poland sort of expressed publicly that it will stop its military assistance to Ukraine.
Huge.
So could it be that the US is bribing Poland by $2 billion? But also there is one thing going on in Poland, which is the upcoming elections.
Yep.
So their president Duda, whom I believe the Polish people are fed up with, they're like, because he pushed Poland into the
he did, and the reality of Poland is that they have more refugees, Ukrainian refugees, that they're taking good care of. From what I can tell, they're taking right.
And we saw
they're taking very good care of those refugees. Like Poland has really done its due duty. Poland has done a wonderful job, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Okay, for the Ukrainians. The problem is this has now gone on for almost 2 years. And so something that was, you know, it's interesting. We get the, 2 weeks to, slowly
start off,
we get told that things are going to be a very short amount of time, and then they're not. So now we're pushing on 2 years, and there's only so long you can keep doing this, right?
Well, this is why Polish farmers are pissed now
Yeah.
at the Duda, because I don't think so they're going to vote for him again, because they're shutting down their businesses regarding the grain, because the EU forced Poland to open up its market for the grain, and the local farmers in Bulgaria, in Slovakia, in I think of course Poland, and there's another country, a fourth one, they're saying enough is enough, we're done with this nonsense. So they are not allowing. So this is where I just find it very ironic that at the same time we're sending a tank, at the same time we are allocating $2 billion.
And so that's something we'll probably talk about on Thursday. You guys, we may have a guest, stand by. But to talk about that specifically, because you're absolutely right, the timing of the US giving this loan, this $2 billion loan to Poland is impossible to ignore.
Indeed.
It's impossible to ignore.
So, and that is why American people are always going to be wondering, is that where our tax money is spent on?
Well, and here's the thing, it feels like, it doesn't feel like, it isn't just our tax dollars, right? So the big problem that the US has right now is that we're running out of money. And I don't understand this. I don't understand how the budget is allowed to be over. We have no more money.
It's crooked politicians. So
and over by a lot. I think our overage this year alone is going to be $1.5 trillion. That's insanity.